And welcome to your City Council meeting. Before Mayor Parker calls the meeting to order, we ask that you please silence all electronic devices. For those of you who have registered to speak, there are 2 podiums in the chamber. The podium in the back is for individuals with mobility concerns. We ask all others to step forward. Each podium has a countdown clock located to the speaker's right that will indicate how much time is remaining. Speakers registered on the consent agenda items will be taken following announcements of any items being pulled or withdrawn. Speakers registered on non-consent items other than public hearing and zoning cases will be taken following council announcements. All speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items within those blocks. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Welcome to your Fort Worth City Council meeting. I'll call us to order.
Today's invocation will be given by Rabbi Andrew Bloom from Havtha Shalom Congregation. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Before I begin, I want to thank the council, the city, the Fort Worth Police Department, and our citizens for your support of me personally, my family, our congregation, the entire Jewish community in the state of Israel. It is tremendously appreciative, and it is moving and gives us strength each day. So thank you very much, and may God bless you all with everything that is good and more. Elohim Bashamayim, God of the universe, bless Mayor Matty Parker and the members of our city council who have been selected to lead our great city both today and in the future. Let us today and every day reflect upon the importance of giving and serving both you and all those who have been created in your image. In the book of Deuteronomy, we read the words, "Justice, justice, you shall pursue." Why is the word justice mentioned twice? Isn't once enough? The answer is that the word justice is mentioned twice so that we strive for justice not only for ourselves, but also for those around us. Bringing justice brings peace, and bringing peace brings God's light into our hearts and communities. Our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, in his second inaugural address, recited the famous words that with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive to finish the work we are in, to do all which we may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. It is further written in the book of Jeremiah that thus says the Lord, let not the wise glory in their wisdom, let not the mighty glory in their might, let not the rich glory in their riches, but let any who give glory in this, that they strive to understand and revere me, God who practices kindness, justice, and righteousness on the earth. For in these things I delight. It is in the name of the book of Deuteronomy, the prophet Jeremiah, and our 16th president, that we pray and offer up the words, God in heaven and on earth, help us to realize the unity of your creation. May the integrity of our lives reflect your oneness wherever we are, whatever we do. May our attitudes be positive and our lives purposeful. May we find the time to render the good deed and speak the kind word. May we be granted wisdom to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, not only for ourselves, but for all. May our community remain one who works on behalf of each other. May our souls be touched and our hearts moved, so that through our work here today and in the future, we will fulfill the edict of loving our neighbors as ourselves. And it is with this in our hearts and minds that we ask you, God in heaven and on earth, to bless the work that will be done today and the decisions which are ahead, so that our mayor and council can lead us forward towards a brighter future, a future filled with morality of our values and the blessings of our city. And let us say, Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God,
Our next item will be a special presentation to recognize Veterans Day.
Good morning. It's a great honor to be joined down here at the podium by Councilmember Elizabeth Beck, a veteran of the U.S. Army. And of course, what's your rank now, Charlie? First Sergeant Charlie Larsdorf, who's also our council member, is joining us at the podium this morning. Veterans Day is a federal holiday dedicated to American veterans in all wars. Veterans Day began in 1918 and is held on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month to commemorate an armistice, a temporary ceasefire that was declared between the Allied nations and Germany in World War I. Commemorated in many countries as Armistice Day the following year, November 11th became a federal holiday in the United States in 1938. In the aftermath of World War II and the Korean War, became known as Veterans Day. Here in the city of Fort Worth, we wanted to recognize our elected officials and our employees who proudly served our country. I may at this point ask some of our employees who are here today to join me behind. That'd be great. Thank you. Are they here? Anybody? Don't be shy. This year, the city will have a group of veterans walking in the Tarrant County Veterans Day Parade on November 11th. We're hopeful that this year it's a little bit better than last year, right? It was a little bit cold if you were at Veterans Day Parade last year. The Tarrant County Veterans Council organizes the annual parade, and this year it will salute TCU warriors. We have representatives from the Tarrant County Veterans Council with us here today. Thank you for joining us. President Zan Zimsarakzik, where is he? Right here. Thank you for being here. You can stand with everybody else. Communications Coordinator Bruce Zilsdorf. Where's Bruce? Did I see him already? There's Bruce. Hi, Bruce. We were cold last year, weren't we? And very wet and very cold, yes. And Parade Committee member and Community Engagement Liaison Scott Castillo. We will be presenting a proclamation at the parade, but we wanted to give you a copy today to thank you for your service. So I'm going to do that at this point and give you a copy of the proclamation we'll actually read on Veterans Day if you'd like to come forward. Charlie's going to hand out some special pins. We'd also like to recognize the employees of the city of Fort Worth who have served our country and are now serving the residents of Fort Worth. We know that most couldn't join us here today, but we do have staff representing each branch of service. When your name is called, I said, please come down, but you're already here with me, which is better. And if you're a veteran in the chamber, please come down and also join your fellow veterans. First branch is the United States Army. If you want to raise your hand, who's representing the Army here? There we go. United States Navy, United States Marines, United States Air Force, United States Coast Guard, and United States Space Force. Thank you all deeply for your service. We appreciate you. We also want to recognize any spouses or family members of our veterans as well. We know that the sacrifice that each of you make is significant on the battlefield, but especially at home as well. And if there are any spouses or family members of veterans in the audience, if you'd like to stand and be recognized, that would be wonderful as well. Please stand. And Elizabeth and Charlie were handing out some very special pins that city staff put together. Thank you all very much for a nice gesture. They're a special commemoration for our veterans that also serve as a City of Fort Worth employee. So thank you for your service. At this time, I think it's important that all the council come down and join us for a picture, if that'd be okay.
Vertical challenge? No. We're just taking a picture.
Everybody look here in the middle. Ready? This camera right here. 1, 2, 3. And now this. Next will be items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
We have one item to withdraw from the consent agenda. That is M&C 23-0942.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
And there are two items to be continued, both to November 14th. The first is M&C 23-0909 and ZC 23-066.
Mayor, next will be speakers on the consent agenda, and I believe we have one.
Thank you, Jeanette. We have caller Adrian Smith.
Yes, Adrian Smith. I am one with the people. MMC 230913 for the individuals in the council chambers who have documentation to follow on. This is the council is due to vote on more money as it relates to a ongoing continued lawsuits as it relates to their ordinance to regulate game room operations. This ordinance went into place on October the 14th, 2014. There were 3 litigants that had filed suits against the city as it relates to this ordinance. Now, in 2017, there were some rulings by two particular Texas courts in favor of the city. However, the plaintiffs are continuing to fight because they feel like this ordinance does not hold any weight. Now, I'm only speaking to this matter because of the cost that it is now currently ballooning to for the city. We have already paid out $540,000 to a law firm to represent the city. Now the city is about to vote on $50,000 more to continue this lawsuit. One thing I've learned about attorneys, whether they know you can win a trial or lose a trial, they will keep you on the hook as long as they can so they can get as much money out of you as they can. So with all of the attorneys that sit on the dais, my question to the attorneys on the dais, and I think you, Mayor Parker, you are one. What's going on? Why are we continuing to fight something that you all don't have any teeth in? This is costing the taxpayers hefty, and it is disgusting. As far as MMC 230931, I think I'm gonna have to do a FOIA request as it relates to the Grants Capital Project Funds. I see there is an amount that you all are about to move around. However, when I did my research, there was no information stating how much was in this particular fund. So I look at it as a potential space for funneling, for people just using money to their purpose. And as I close, I'm at the Law Library, a beautiful edifice. I just want to say salute to my fellow veterans in the council chambers. Sorry I could not be there with you all, but I was trespassed from City Hall by the mayor. Hopefully she can let you know why, but yeah. And Mayor, I'll wait in the queue. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Seemed like, what's it, 10 seconds?
Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah, okay.
Council, that's the conclusion of our consent agenda speakers. I can entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries. Alan didn't mean to vote no, apparently.
Next item will be MNC 230942. And Mayor, that item was pulled from consent to allow Councilmember Crane to recuse.
Councilmember Crane, I'll let you go first.
Thanks. Because of my wife's wonderful job at Child Care Associates, I have to recuse from this. I do want to point out Kara Waddell, that is head of Child Care Associates in the audience, who does amazing work, and this will create, I'm full, if I could vote for it, I would. I guess I'm probably not supposed to say that, but if it will create new beds, new spaces in Las Vegas Trail for the Head Start program there. It's something we've been working on for a long period of time, so thank you for your leadership there.
Thank you, Michael. I can entertain a motion, council.
Second.
Motion and a second. And to reiterate, Michael, Kara, thank you for being here and all your leadership at CCA, both here at the city and also at the county. You're doing really transformational work for quality childcare, so we really, really appreciate you being here. With that, I think we can vote, council. Alan's voting yes, and we've got one abstention from Councilmember Crane, if you can fix that. It's not a Halloween prank, I promise. Just let the record reflect that Councilmember Blaylock is a yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Next will be announcements by council for upcoming and recent events, recognition of citizens, and approval of ceremonial travel if needed.
Thank you. Councilmember Flores, you're up first.
Thanks, Mayor. Get the slides up, please. Okay, on October 19th, myself and other council members attended the Police Academy Class 155 graduation ceremony. We had opening remarks by our very own Councilman Charles Larsdorf, and I think Chief Noakes said it best. You know, while this class comparatively was a little smaller, the police department only wants the best. So congratulations to our newest police officers. Next slide, please. Okay, October 19th, went and attended the floodplain seminar for elected officials and municipal staff at the North Central Texas Council of Governments. And it's a training in partnership with the COG and the Texas Floodplain Management Association. It's proud to hear presentations by our very own Jennifer Dyke. The program was presented by Brandy Kelp and Ben Thompson. Another partner agency was FEMA, as well as the Tarrant Regional Water District. Next slide, please. All right, October 19th, we had our very first community open house, and that was a big success. You had various city, police, and fire departments under one roof, making it easy for people to come by and leave on their own time. The open house format was very successful, so I want to give special thanks to Doc Kent, our crime prevention specialist, for organizing the event, and all the various departments and organizations that attended and bringing a lot of folks in to the forum. Thank you. Next slide. October 21st, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce had its Fort Worth 2023 ERG Summit. And this summit organizes employee resource groups and gauges their impacts on the city. Tarrant County College Trinity River campus hosted it. Myself, Councilmember Blaylock were there. We gave some remarks, and we also participated as judges to these corporate teams that presented. So thanks to Annette Landeros and her team for putting that together. Scott Castillo was here earlier. He was also part of that. So thank you all. Next slide, please. Okay, October 24th, attended the Red Ribbon Breakfast over at Castleberry ISD. Castleberry ISD has a presence in District 2 during this breakfast. The Lions Club, along with members of Castleberry, recognized students who had been awarded and recognized as winners for their art. And the purpose of the art was, again, to dissuade, those students, those youngsters from partaking in drugs, illicit drugs like fentanyl. Fentanyl poisoning was one of the topics of discussion, so I tip my hat to Superintendent Renee Smith-Faulkner, students, parents, teachers, and everyone for making that possible. Thank you very much. Let's see, next slide. October 28th. Several of us here on council attended the Fort Worth Firefighters Chili Cook-Off in downtown. There are great chili recipes from the traditional to the non-traditional, both local and from across the state. I think, if I'm not certain, I think the winner may have been, I hate to say San Antonio, but hey, appreciate them coming by. But our folks, at the fire department put on a really good show with their chili. So thanks to everybody. Next slide, please. Okay, October 29th, North Tri-Ethnic Community Center Trunk or Treat. There were games, candy, hot chocolate, lots of fun despite the bad weather. But very own Myra Gallegos, I don't know if she's there or back in the office. Her little one won first place for the costume contest as Coraline. All right, I think I have one announcement, and that'll conclude it. Due to the inclement weather, the Dia de los Muertos parade by Artes de la Rosa is now moved to Saturday, November 4th. So everyone keep that in mind. The times are the same, and we'll see you out there. That's all I got.
Next is Councilmember Crane.
Great. I have a few quick slides here. I just wanted to mention this is Helen Hart Luckett, her 100th birthday. She's a super amazing woman, involved with Ridgeland Presbyterian Church since 1953, teaching some of their classes for 45 years. She is, from what I understand, the first woman that got involved in the Boy Scouts Longhorn Council, serving across the board in every state, national levels. She was in the American Red Cross in World War II. She did a lot of great things. She was still spry at 100 when we presented this to her. A lot of people from her church turned out, but I just wanted to recognize her because she's still driving, and Ainsley came with me, and we had Dr. Pepper floats, which were by request from her, so that was a fun day. Next slide. Last Thursday, I had a chance to go down to Nacogdoches, and that's Jennifer McDonald from the Institute for Justice, where we talked about the city's work report that they had done for us, where we're talking about streamlining what we do for small businesses, how we're working with city staff, and looking at all the processes. So that was a fun jaunt down there for the day. Next slide. I want to say thanks to the parks staff and the contractors that helped get this done for these kids in Overton Park that sits right across from Tanglewood. This is new playground equipment, and Mayor, you always talk about quality of life, and this really is about the quality of life that we're delivering. Also, what I want to mention is really great. There's a guy in that picture named Jerry B. I'm not even trying to pronounce his last name, but he lives across the street, and he noticed that we weren't actually doing the 0 to 5 style as part of that park plan. So he donated almost $20,000 of his own money to be a part of that park. And so it's back in the back. And so I'm really proud that neighbors step in and kind of help make it great too. Next slide. Very rainy on Saturday. So we did the groundbreaking for the new Fort Worth Mormon temple, though there was actually no groundbreaking. We were inside, and really great. It's at the corner of Southwest Hewlett and Green Ridge. It's the first temple that's coming to the Sheikh here in this area. So very excited members of the Mormon faith. So that's it.
Councilmember Williams, you're up.
Mayor. This past week, we had the chance to attend the Cities United Conference. It's a conference that brings together a vast and diverse network of city leaders, including council members and mayors, community partners, and young leaders to bring our minds together to understand and share best practices in addressing and preventing youth gun violence, as well as cyclical and retaliatory gun violence. So it was an awesome time to spend convening not only with others from other cities, but I'm going with folks like Councilmember Flores, as well as the entire 1 Second Collaborative. And it was very productive, and we brought back lots of great best practices to implement here in our hometown. Next slide. That might be it. That is all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jared. Councilmember Hill.
You just have 2 slides. So October 22nd, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of Fire Station 18. A quick thank you to Chris Wood and Arlington Heights Neighborhood Associations for putting this on. And that was actually my first time to cut a cake with a hatchet. So that was an experience. Next slide. And then we met with South Lake Worth Neighborhood Association. I wanted to thank Gianni and Tony from Code Compliance for coming out and helping answer some questions about short-term rentals. I think the biggest discussion we had was about the potential recycling plant or landfill that will go in the ETJ. So we had a constructive conversation about that. Thank you.
Councilmember Nettles?
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, we had opportunity to do our town hall. Want to really appreciate Assistant Chief Aldridge being there and supporting. He took a lot of questions, code compliance. It was a good opportunity to talk about what we're doing in District 8. Next slide, please. Oh, my goodness. We had a wonderful game at Tough Stars basketball game. I tell you, I didn't put the score, or you can see in the back. The Forward Police Department had opportunity to coach, and I tell you, we beat up on the fire department, all in love, all in fun. And so my counterpart, Jeanette Martinez, was coaching the fire department. She did a great job coaching. But I tell you, that tracksuit that I have on, I mean, it brought the fire in the building. So we had a wonderful time with Tough Stars and Gloria Sterling. She's doing a phenomenal, and they was able to donate I believe it was $20,000 to that elementary, middle school in Northside. And so it's a phenomenal opportunity. So next time you have opportunity, please support. Next slide. Did go to the Forward Chili cook-off with my daughter, Christiana. It was pretty cold, got in and out. Next slide. Continuing to climb reentry job resource fair, November the 3rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's opportunity for you to, there's gonna be several jobs opportunity there. Also hiring with those with felonies. So if you're looking for a job or an opportunity, please meet us there. It is always a great turnout. I do want to, I think that's my last slide, but I have two other announcements. I do want to announce that Election Day is coming up November with propositions and amendments to our Constitution, so make sure you go out and vote. Don't let this season go by without you voting. I also want to take an opportunity to recognize and honor Jerry's guest, who is here from Crowley ISD, sitting in City Council. If y'all would just wave at the Mayor and Council so we can see y'all. Thank you guys for coming and visiting us here at City Hall where the rubber meets the road. And so that's all I have.
Thank you, Chris. Councilmember Beck?
Awesome, thank you.
Mayor, real quick, if I could jump in.
Yeah, go ahead,
if you don't
Jared.
mind. I was just going to say thank you, Councilmember Nettles, for greeting them. And I wish I was there in person, but I know you're in good hands with the staff and with Councilmember Nettles. Thank you.
Okay, let's try this again. First up, we have the groundbreaking for Tobias Place. Thank you, Mayor, for being there. Thank you, Councilwoman Martinez, for being there. Huge thanks to so many city staff members who are sitting here to my right that made this incredible project come to fruition on a cold and rainy day. We finally got to break ground 2 years in the making. Next slide. Constitution Day, I had the opportunity to go back to where it all started for me at the TCC South Campus and talk to what was mostly high school students that are seeking their associate's degree while they're in high school about the Constitution. So that was a lot of fun to get to connect with them. Next up. Oh, we have the firefighter chili cook-off that did not get canceled because of the rain. So I really appreciate Fort Worth Fire Department for putting that on and warming us up with some chili. Next slide. All right, we have movie night coming up Friday, November 3rd at Burnett Park. Don't miss that. Next slide. We have rescheduled Friday on the Green, so be looking for a new date. Next slide. Okay, this is a big one, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is coming to the area. This is the RAM Clinic. It's the Remote Access Medical Clinic. You can see a bunch of partners down at the bottom. UNT Health Science Center is the main partner that has helped bring this to Fort Worth. This is a huge clinic. It is free. It is November 4th and 5th. It will be at the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary at 2001 West Seminary Drive, if you need the address. Services start at 6 a.m. and it is first come, first serve. No ID is required. Your status will not be checked if you come into this clinic. All services are completely free, and it also goes beyond just medical services, but dental and vision, and includes pediatric and women's health care. So I would really encourage anyone that you know that might need that type of service to head on out there those 2 days. Next slide. Happy Halloween, y'all, and go Rangers.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Councilman Martinez.
Yes, thank you. So just a few slides here. I was able to attend the week of October 16th, the West Meadowbrook Neighborhood Association, Carter Park Neighborhood Association, to update the respective groups on different projects and issues that are happening. I also had the pleasure of attending the Fort Worth PD promotion ceremony. I wasn't able to make the graduation, but just again, congratulations on all those who promoted. Special shout out to Deputy Chief Monica Martin and Commander Antoine Williams from East Division. On Saturday, I started the day at the ALS walk, the Walk to Defeat ALS. It was a beautiful morning in Gateway Park, and then ended the day with my daughter and our dog Mars at the Worth Heights Fall Festival. They had an attendance of over 200 neighbors that were able to participate, so it was a great turnout. Next slide, please. Week of October 23rd, I was able to attend the Women of Hope breakfast hosted by One Safe Place at the Ashton Depot. It was a wonderful program and greatly attended. Also attended the Tobias Place groundbreaking. Thank you, Councilwoman Beck, for all the work that you did to make this possible. Staff, for all your hard work. This is the first apartment complex that's come into the South Side in the Worth Heights neighborhood in 50 years. Like Council Member Nettles shared, I was able to coach the Fort Worth Fire Department team. We did lose, not by much. We were up for over half of the game, I think. So it was really fun, and it was a great game. It was really cool. And on Saturday, I was able to visit the Art of Living. If you don't know what the Art of Living is, it's a nonprofit organization. They're located off Lancaster, and they do wonderful work. They provide a variety of resources to East Lancaster corridor, specifically to youth and families experiencing homelessness. I was able to call out a game of bingo and just take a quick tour and see the great work that they're doing there. And then me and Bella also attended the Fort Worth Chili Cook-Off. We had our fill of chili. Special shout out to Fire Station 14, the War Wagon team. They were there. Their chili was pretty good. So I think we tried each station that still had chili. We got there a little later. So next slide, please. The third and final public meeting for the Gateway Park Master Plan will take place in Southside. For those who don't know, Gateway Park is the only regional park in Fort Worth, so we've made it, it's very intentional to move it around. It was first the Botanic Gardens. The second meeting was in Eastern Hills on the east side, and now it'll be on the south side at the Victory Forest Community Center. So please swing by if you can on Monday, November 13th. Also, save the date. I do not have a slide, but save the date for December 2nd. The inaugural District 11 Resource Fair will take place at the rocket ship Dennis Duncan's Elementary. So that's Saturday, November 2nd from 9 a.m. to 11:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. I believe that's the last of our council announcements.
Mayor, next will be speakers on the non-consented items, and I believe we have two.
Our first speaker will be Adrian Smith.
Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, please.
All right. Hey, yeah, so this is the consent item, right? No. What consent item? This the resolution?
This is your non-consent item. I think you're speaking
Give me the number, Mayor, please. Give me the number, please.
It's the resolution pertaining to our council work sessions and council meetings.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So yes, this is the resolution pertaining to the upcoming schedule that you all are going to adhere to on next year. My question to you, Mayor, since you are the chair, would you mind telling myself and the public what it is we are standing to lose as it relates to this this new schedule, because I know what you all have on the books, but what are we standing to lose in 2024 as it relates to we the citizens of Fort Worth with this new schedule?
If you're waiting on me,
got
I'm
your
not going to
time?
have, no, I'm just going to let you finish. You got a minute and 54 seconds.
Okay. Well, since you're such a self-serving bunch of yahoos, let's be clear on one thing. You all have disregarded the
Point of order.
Let's just refrain from name calling. It's a little early for that. So let's keep going here. You got a minute and 41 seconds.
You all have disregarded the people of Fort Worth for long enough. Your self-serving ways. It's way past done with your self-serving ways. So you don't want to go on record and say what we're standing to lose. And this is the one thing Mr. Bob Willoughby was the most vocal on this upcoming schedule. You all have disregarded us numerous times for your own interests. You all use the city council chambers for grandstanding. You're doing grandstanding. You did grandstanding this morning, and you did grandstanding this last 2 weeks. But that's okay, Mayor. We're gonna continue to play your game. We're gonna continue to play your. We're gonna continue to play your game. We're gonna continue to play your. You can't talk over me, sir. You cannot talk to me. Point of order is for you all. It doesn't apply to me. All right. So let's get that straight. All right.
Adrian, I feel like maybe we woke up on the wrong side of the bed today.
Mayor, you said you weren't talking. Now you're talking. Mayor, you talking now? You're talking to me now?
I think we're done.
Point of order.
Mayor,
Thank you. Bless it. Okay. I think we have one more non-consent agenda speaker. It's Bob Willoughby by phone.
Oh, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you, Bob.
Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
good. Okay. Yeah, this resolution here is the one you won't put out. It takes away our free speech at City Council. So I'm not sure. I hate being on the cell phone because I can't hardly hear. But nevertheless, it's kind of ironic on Veterans Day. You talk about veterans and people fighting for our right to speak and freedom, and you're going to vote to take away our right to speak at City Council meetings, because that's what this does. We had 12 minutes a month before you came in office, Mayor, of free speech. The citizens did. You cut it down to 0. And that's 0. Because the public comment meetings are not city council meetings. They're just a cover-up for what you did here. This should be postponed to November, like it says on the schedule. And that's what I was gearing up for, was November, but you snuck it in here on this one. And you sure won't word it where it takes away our right to speak. A lot of things. This city's too big just for 2 council meetings a month. It's a big city. It should have at least 4 a month. But nevertheless, I don't know. It's like talking to a wall when I talk to y'all. I know that. You're pretty much locked in. You're self-centered, and you can't see outside your bubble. But this is the most disgusting thing anybody could do to a city is remove free speech. And that's what you're doing. And you should, it's just, I don't know. What can I say here? I had some stuff laid out to say. I hate this over the phone. Well, I kind of like it over the phone. But, oh, yeah, I know what I want to bring up here real quick before I run out of time. Mayor, last time we did this, I did half-page ads. We're going to go to full-page ads now at the Fort Worth Weekly. Full-page ads with the employees for the city that are bad, the people that are ripping us up with CCP funds, all that because of this. You're removing our right to speak here. We have to speak publicly there, okay? So I just want you to know we're going to move to full-page ads. We'll talk about this still, but we want to cover a lot of things that we can't cover at City Council anymore because we're not allowed to speak there. But, your power is only right there inside the city and the media, and that's it. As far as out here, you have no power, okay? You're not very strong out here. You're not no power at all. You only got in by 3% of the people voting. So somehow or another, we got to get this back in charge of the people. And but anyway, that's why you keep our rights away from speak. And when you pass this is about the. I can't think of anything. You got to be number one as the worst mayor in the whole United States.
Point of order.
Number one. Yes, you are my target. You are my target. Okay. Was that 3 minutes left, or was that the end? Or
Point of order. Point of order.
You got 11 seconds left.
Point of order. Okay. Well, how much time I got left? 30 seconds, maybe?
6 seconds.
Anyway, Okay. Anyway, I'm going to say, yes, I'm not ashamed to say you're my target. You're the target that removed. Remove the snake, the head of the snake, and the body will fall.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Good morning. That's the last of our non-consent agenda speakers.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd just
ahead.
like to point out the guy that's saying he doesn't have public free speech is actually making a comment to us, and with that, I'd move to approve.
Thank you.
Actually,
There's no item. We're
There's
going to
no
get to
item
that in a
yet. Oh, we're
second. We'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Michael.
the next item will be 230821, which are board and commission appointments from the mayor.
Thank you, Jeanette. I've got a few here. The first is request your consideration to appoint the following individuals to their respective boards with terms effective October 31st, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2025. The first is Eric James in his first term to Historic and Cultural Landmarks Commission, and Adrienne Holland to her first term at Board of Adjustment Residential. The respective applications are attached and resumes are provided, and the original copies will be maintained by the City Secretary's office. I will also be appointing additional members to the Human Relations Commission, the Mayor's Commission for Persons with Disabilities. Just to make sure we have our T's crossed and I's dotted, we'll make those appointments at the next meeting. But I do know that Jonah Murray is here. Thank you for being here, Jonah. Jonah will be a member on our Human Relations Commission. And that's the conclusion of my appointments. Thank you. Motion and a second. Please vote. Allen's an aye. Sorry, y'all. Thank you. Motion carries.
Next is item 230658, which, Mayor, are reappointments to the Planning Commission.
Who has those in front of them? Oh, yes, I do, right here. We've got alternates to be reappointed. Mathis Milkoris is our alternate member, term ending 10/1/2025 to Plan Commission Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees. That is a mouthful. And Leroy Lindsay, alternate member with term ending 10/1/2025, also to the Plan Commission and Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees. A motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 230824, appointments from District 4.
Councilmember Dollersdorf.
All right, Mayor and Council, request your consideration to reappoint the following October 31st, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2024, Brian Black to his third term on the Building Standards Commission. The respective application is attached and the resume is provided. The original copy will be maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230823, appointments from District 6.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Mayor and Council. I would like to request your consideration to appoint the following individuals to the respective boards effective October 31st, 2023, and with partial terms expiring October 1st, 2024, including Broderick Williams, a partial term for Zoning Commission and Alliance Airport Zoning Commission, Myra Mills, partial term for Board of Adjustment Residential, Denise Turner, partial term for Plan Commission and Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees, and Estrus Tucker, partial term for Historic and Cultural Landmark Commission. The respective applications are attached to resumes if are provided. The original copies will be maintained in the City Secretary's office. Thanks for y'all's consideration.
Got a motion to take a second, Council? Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 230822, appointments from District 9.
Councilmember Beck.
I am requesting your consideration to appoint the following individuals with the term effective October 31st, 2023 and ending October 1, 2025. Jennifer Glass Renta to her first term on the Board of Adjustments Residential, and Tony DiNicola, first term for Building and Standards Commission. The respective application is attached, and resume, if provided, the original copy will be maintained in the city secretary's office.
Got a motion and a second? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0825.
And a second? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0826.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you, Councilmember Blaylock. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0827.
And a second, Council. Yeah, go ahead, Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I do want to add some comments to the schedule here. I did add these comments when we had work session. And despite some of the public comments we heard today, I do believe that it is our duty as mayor and city council to hear from our residents, not to be bullied, not to be name called, but to actually hear from concerns. And so I know there's plenty of residents out there in our city who has desires to come down to City Hall to make these comments, but sometimes refuse to come because we have some bad actors who make it a show. When I look at the schedule here, there is 1 month in the month of November that we won't have public comments. And then there are several months where we only have one public comment throughout the month. I think it's important that, again, we hear our concerns. And so for those reasons, I'm not going to make a substitute motion to change the vote or change the motion today, but I am going to put on the record that because we don't have any public meeting in the month of November, and there are 7 months that we only have one public meeting, I'm going to vote no, not supporting this schedule, because I think it's important. And I do believe when we canceled the last session, when we didn't have quorum, I appreciate one of our fellow council members calling those who had signed up to speak. So I do believe this council is willing to hear the concerns of our community, but we do have some bad apples in our city that causes frustration when we talk about public comments. So those are my comments today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Councilmember Bivens. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor, and respectfully to the opinion of my peer on the council. You all, and I'm talking to students right now. I was so glad when our new mayor brought in a daytime meeting. I wanted to see that years ago because I wanted students like you and all around the region to be able to come and see how government really works. Now, I believe there are many ways to contact your council member, this entire council. We are all available, even our cell numbers are on our business card. But what I don't like is perverting the order of doing business with the city. And when people sign up, and I know what they're going to call the mayor a 5-letter word. And so it's important to me that when we come to City Hall, we provide a space where people can do business with the city. And that is why I am supporting this schedule.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And also because we have speakers in the audience, the only reason our 2 callers are by phone is they decided it'd be appropriate to curse out a 12-year-old Little League team while they were here celebrating their win. So we just kind of put a stop to that for a few months. Hopefully they can come back in the spring and be a little better behaved, especially around children. And importantly, we do meet. I have met with Mr. Willoughby in my office and spent 30 minutes with him despite him threatening to cut my head off. Luckily, I'm still sitting here. But that's just part of the job, right, as your mayor, is to meet with anyone that has a concern about the city of Fort Worth. And it's very important that even our public comments are really left for people that have real issues for the city and want to express those. It is not uncommon. All of us have done that. Make phone calls, have separate meetings with people that have taken the time to come down to City Hall. Most of the feedback I get, most like Gina just spoke of, is they'd rather not be here in public meeting. They'd rather have the one-on-one meeting. So our staffs take it very seriously. So we encourage you to come back if that's something you want to do. Again, you can always sign up on any item, whether it's a consent agenda or an individual non-consent. Every zoning case has a separate set of speakers. Luckily for you here today, you don't have a long zoning docket, so you won't really get to experience a long zoning meeting. But we usually will have hours of speakers or people that are expressing their opinion about a particular issue. So we take it very seriously to make sure we can, A, conduct business in an expedient fashion as the fastest growing city in the country, but B, make sure that our constituents have an ability to come to a place where they feel welcome and don't feel attacked. And unfortunately, that has happened in the last few years due to a few bad apples that love to come and yell at people. So we're trying to do our best. That's really what this council does. That this calendar is really proposing, and special thanks to our city secretary's office, because it is very difficult to chart these out over a year's time period and make sure you have that in place. And I'd like to thank my councilmember Nettles for speaking up, and we understand his perspective on this particular calendar, and we'll continue to make sure we take time for our constituents and meet with them separately to make sure their issues are heard. Any other speakers on this item, council? If not, you can vote. Thank you. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230940 with report by city staff Jennifer Dyke.
As Jennifer's getting her presentation for the students in the audience, Jennifer is a bright spot in city government. She oversees, as you'll see, our stormwater flood mitigation needs. There are many in a growing city. So while this presentation may be dense in nature, just know that you're people like Jennifer that represent the city of Fort Worth very well. So Jennifer, we appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. And I did condense the presentation down that y'all have seen, I think just to like 12 slides, so less dense. But good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. I'm the Assistant Director of the Transportation and Public Works Department, and specifically of the Stormwater Management. Increase will impact stormwater utility fee rate payers and the additional revenue, and how we'll use that to make a significant difference in our community. Next slide. Or do I push, or does someone else? Oh, okay. The Stormwater Program was created in 2006 in response to the community asking the city to take action after a series of 2004 flood events. Not only were over 300 properties flooded, but most significantly, the floods cost the lives of 5 people. The stormwater utility fee provides a dedicated source of revenue for stormwater work. Next slide. The Stormwater Program's mission is to protect people and property from harmful stormwater runoff. We do this by maintaining our drainage infrastructure, mitigating flooding and erosion hazards, warning the community about these hazards, and reviewing development for compliance with city stormwater standards. The work we do improves community health and safety, advances sustainable growth and development, and makes our community cleaner and more livable. Next slide. Our program's current utility fee revenue is not sufficient to address the many of our highest priority needs. As the city grows, we have more drainage infrastructure to maintain, and much of the infrastructure we have is aging. As we've experienced over the past week, and more significantly in August 2022, repetitive flooding citywide continues. The fiscal year 24 fee increase will help advance high priority capital and maintenance efforts, which will reduce flooding and emergency response, provide for more effective asset management, increase maintenance service levels, reducing the need for costly capital projects, improve public safety, water quality, and quality of life, and save the city and our residents money. Next slide. Because the Stormwater Program does not receive general fund revenue, we continue to evaluate the need for stormwater utility fee increases based on needs and risks. The 15% utility fee increase will be split roughly 50-50 between capital and maintenance needs. The Stormwater Program stakeholder group members expressed the support of and acknowledged the need for the fee increase while ensuring we're considering the impact on ratepayers, especially lower income ratepayers. And while this increase does not address all of our capital and maintenance needs, it allows us to take another step towards improving how we tackle high priority needs. The new rates will be effective January 1st, 2024, changing our base rate from $575 to $661 per month per billing unit. The last increase of 6.5% went into effect in January 2020. This increase will bring in an estimated additional $5.9 million in fiscal year '24 and $7.7 million in fiscal year '25 into the stormwater utility. It will also provide the capacity to issue an estimated $160 million of debt in 4 tranches over 12 years to begin to address large phased capital flood mitigation projects. Next slide. This table shows the impact of the increase on stormwater utility ratepayers. The top line shows the impact on average single-family homeowners who will pay less than $1 a month more and just over $10 a year more due to the increase. The next 2 slides show the impact on small and medium-sized commercial ratepayers, and the remaining lines show the impact on the top 20 ratepayers. And as you can see, the city of Fort Worth is the largest ratepayer. Additionally, we have a credit program where non-residential and high occupancy residential property owners can potentially reduce their utility fees. Next slide. This table shows the impact of the increase on the 4 tiers of low occupancy residential ratepayers, which ranges from an increase of 43 cents a month to $1.73 a month more based on residential square footage. We also evaluated the impact of the increase on single-family residents and determined that residents would pay less than 0.4% a year as a percentage of median income, making this rate increase affordable. Next slide. So what will the new revenue be used for? Half of the new revenue will be used to begin to tackle large-scale flooding problems in the Upper LeBeau, Linwood, West 7th, and Barry McCart areas. Improvements in these areas are estimated to total roughly $225 million based on planning level evaluations and 2023 dollars. This increase will help fund an initial phase of capital improvements in each of these areas, but due to the high cost of the estimates, additional funding is needed to continue to implement improvements. Additional funding could come from a combination of stormwater utility fee increases over time, allocation of tax increment finance district funding towards drainage improvements when appropriate, leveraging our resources through partnerships, and applying for alternative funding sources such as grants. Next slide. The other half of the new revenue will go towards citywide maintenance improvements, as it's critical that we continue to invest in our infrastructure so it can function as designed. A 5-year plan will be implemented to improve service levels associated with culvert inspection and cleaning, drainage pipe repair, channel maintenance, pipe condition and assessment, and pre-condition assessment, inspection, and cleaning. Next slide. This timeline shows our estimated delivery plan for what we propose with the fee increase only. Ultimate delivery of the flood mitigation phases will be better defined after project development evaluates project elements and costs in more detail. And as we know, changing economic conditional capital and maintenance benefits the utility fee.
Any questions for Jennifer, Council? Go ahead, Councilmember Beck.
I'll go ahead and move to close the public hearing and approve the MNC. Thank you for everything that you've done. This is a significant increase in our stormwater, and I don't think any of us take that lightly. I mean, you had 3 big projects up there that you showed us, and those are 3 very important projects, but I bet if we asked, there's a whole bunch of projects around this city in almost every district, I would say in every district, that maybe aren't quite as costly, but just as important to those residents who see their residential or thoroughfares flood during a stormwater event. So we don't get there by hoping and wishing. We have to really put our money where our mouth is. And so thank you for being part of this process, and thank you for helping us come up with solutions to keep our residents safe.
Second.
Got a motion and a second,
Mayor.
Council? Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'd just like to say some brief comments to couple in with what Councilwoman Beck said. The benefits certainly outweigh the concerns about the fee increase. We're sensitive here on the council, and that's why we implemented the stakeholder group to give us, meaningful input in that regard. Flooding is a public safety concern, as you noted. And as our city grows and more impervious surfaces are put in place, that risk continues to grow with it. So we have to, continue to address it and bring all resources to bear to do that. So thank you for the work that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Jennifer. Council, you may vote. Jared, you may have to try again. Sorry. Thank you. Motion carries.
Mayor, as a reminder for everyone, MNC 230909 and ZC 23066 were continued by staff to November 14th at the request of the applicant.
Thank you.
The next item is MNC 230944.
A motion and a second, council. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230925.
Second, please vote. Carries.
Next item is MNC 230928.
Councilmember Hill.
I'd like to move to approve, but I wanted to extend appreciation to Jill McElhaney and Lori Gordon for their relentless search in the River District to help find parkland for the River District neighborhoods. This was a developer that failed to produce a park as promised, and so I'm pleased that we'll have Red Bud Park now in District 7.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230934.
Councilmember Bibbins.
No speakers on this one.
That's correct.
I will have some comments to be read into the record because I don't want misinformation to go out there. This location is a very dangerous area, and because of high water and flooding, again, flooding in this time in District 5, we had a fatality back in 2018. Many will remember what I call the rains from hell, where we had rain all over Southeast Fort Worth. You need to know that the city did work with the property owner, and an offer was made in keeping with the appraisal for $116,548. Instead, the owner made a counteroffer requesting $1.9 million, and that was not accepted by the city. Any other details anyone wants on the city's position on this? I guess I would get city staff to have some comments about why this is so important. Would that be TPW, or would it be legal?
Jennifer's coming down.
Okay. Jennifer, talk about the fatality and the car swept off the road.
Yes, definitely. So one of our highest priorities of the Stormwater Management Program is our hazardous road overtopping mitigation program. So yes, in 2018, we had a tragic loss at this location. And then again, last year in 2022, there was another car that came across and they happened to get washed off the road. Fortunately, that man was able to get out of his car in time. So this is one of our top priority locations that we've been working to mitigate for a while now. This MNC will allow us to acquire those easements so we can move forward with that project to protect the life and safety of these residents. It's going to be a great project. The road will be elevated up out of the floodplain, and there'll also be sidewalks added as well. So it'll be a more beneficial project, a more complete project for the community than the existing older crossing there right now.
Thank you. And now I'll make my motion, which requires formal language. I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt a resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire 0.618 acres in permanent drainage easement and 0.045 acres in temporary construction easement from real property owned by the Vases Enterprises located at 4201 South Cravens Drive in the James M. Daniel Survey, abstract number 395, tracks 3, 3D, 3E, 3F, 3F1, and 3G, Tarrant County, Texas. The property is needed for the hazardous roadway overtopping mitigation South Cravens Road Culvert Improvements Project, which is City Project number 103398, a public use project that will replace the bridge at South Cravens Road and increase drainage capability to eliminate flooding. The land rights in the subject property are needed for the drainage improvements. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communications. And that is my motion.
Second. Got a motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230926.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Mayor, that concludes all of the agenda items.
Thank you, council. Before we close, I do have a very important person to close our meeting today. Today, we close the meeting in honor of Sergeant John Jensen, badge number 3005, who recently passed away after a prolonged illness, surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues. Sergeant Jensen was a 26-year veteran of the 4th Police Department and was assigned to North Patrol. He was a great husband, father, friend, and leader of the department. As we prepare to send Sergeant Jensen to his final resting home, we mourn together with his family and ask for your prayers in this difficult time. End of watch, October 28th, 2023. Thank you, council, and meeting adjourned.